GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good night, Montreal.
Later today, volunteers from the city's Venezuelan community will turn the popular Arapura du Plateau on the Plateau Montreal into a relief hub. The group plans to sort and pack donations that have been gathered for victims of the twin earthquakes that struck Venezuela on Wednesday. Organizers say the restaurant's kitchen space and central location make it ideal for efficiently processing food, clothing, and medical supplies bound for the disaster zone. The effort joins a broader wave of international aid responding to the extensive damage reported in Caracas and surrounding regions. Community leaders emphasize that the volunteers are coordinating with established charities to ensure the contributions reach those most in need. The packing session is scheduled to run through the afternoon, with the first shipments expected to leave by early evening.
The International Association of Gay Square Dance Clubs is set to bring its annual convention to the island this summer, marking the first time the 5-day gathering lands in Montreal. From July 1st through July 5th, dancers from around the globe will converge for workshops, social dances, and performances across venues in the city. Organizers Jean-Marc Robichaud and Joel Smith said the event reflects the growing popularity of inclusive dance communities and offers locals a chance to experience the vibrant culture the association celebrates. The convention, now in its 43rd year, will feature open-floor sessions, choreography clinics, and evening socials, drawing both seasoned partners and newcomers. Local businesses anticipate a boost as participants explore the historic streets, and the city's cultural calendar will highlight the convention alongside summer festivals. Officials expect the festivities to energize downtown venues and attract visitors to cafes and boutiques throughout the weekend.
Residents moving on 1st of July are being warned about an extreme heat episode expected to hit the island. Meteorologists predict a humidex of 40, creating hazardous conditions for anyone lifting boxes or loading trucks. The city's health department advises movers to schedule breaks in shaded areas, stay hydrated, and wear lightweight clothing. Portable fans or cooling stations are recommended at apartment complexes and storage facilities. Officials also suggest postponing non-essential moves if possible, or arranging for early morning or late evening shifts when temperatures dip. The forecast is part of a broader early July heat wave that could affect the entire region. The city has issued a heat advisory and sent notices to major moving firms, urging them to inform clients of the risks and to provide water stations at loading zones. The public is urged to monitor updates from local weather services and follow any directives issued by municipal authorities.
At the 2026 NHL entry draft in Buffalo, the second day is already delivering headline moves. The Montreal Canadiens reached for Russian forward Timofey Runtso with their second-round pick, adding a size forward to a roster that hopes to rebound this season. Across the board, Toronto sent defenseman Brandon Carlo to the St. Louis Blues, receiving 2 third-round selections in return. Both clubs see the trade as a way to restock depth and keep options open for the upcoming free agency market. The Canadiens' pick marks the first time they've selected a Russian player in the early round since the early 2000s, while the Leafs continue to reshape their blue line after a disappointing playoff run. As the draft rolls on, more deals and selections are expected before the final round tonight for fans.
Authorities have issued a silver alert after a 75-year-old senior was reported missing in Manville, in Quebec's Lanaudière region on June 26. The Quebec Provincial Police confirmed the alert was activated under the province's program for vulnerable adults who disappear. Police say the senior may be disoriented, increasing the urgency of the search. The alert mobilizes law enforcement agencies, transportation officials, and media outlets to locate the individual. The senior was last seen near his residence in the rural community. Police have deployed search teams and are reviewing surveillance footage. The investigation remains active and officials are coordinating efforts across the region. The alert will remain in effect until the individual is located. The Silver Alert system is designed to expedite the recovery of at-risk adults, and this case is being treated as a high priority by the provincial police.
Later we'll hear how Quebec's portable airbag vests protect motorcyclists and the heat hitting Montreal movers. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. Up next, Rachel Reed brings the top local stories you need to hear right now.
Quebec's Auto Insurance Board and the province's Motorcycle Association are urging riders to adopt portable airbag vests, a lightweight protective garment that inflates on impact. The push comes today as officials grapple with a persistently high rate of motorcycle deaths across the province. Advocates say the vests can reduce fatal injuries by cushioning the torso and spine during collisions. The insurance board will feature the gear in upcoming safety campaigns and is exploring incentives for riders who purchase the equipment. Motorcycle groups welcome the move, noting that current helmet and jacket standards leave the chest area vulnerable. By encouraging broader use of the technology, the province hopes to bring the toll of road fatalities involving two-wheelers down in the years ahead. For daily commuters who rely on motorcycles to navigate rush hour congestion, the added protection could mean a safer ride home after long shifts.
Yesterday night in Ville-Marie, a 64-year-old man assaulted a 37-year-old man with a sharp object. Police responded after emergency calls reported the attack near St. Laurent Boulevard. The victim was taken to a nearby hospital, where doctors said his injuries are serious but not life-threatening, and that he is expected to recover. Officers identified the suspect at the scene and placed him in custody pending further investigation. The suspect now faces charges of aggravated assault with a weapon. The area, a busy stretch of restaurants and nightlife, was cordoned off for several hours while detectives reviewed surveillance footage and interviewed witnesses to determine motive. The investigation remains active, and authorities said they will keep the public informed as more details emerge. This incident adds to a recent series of violent episodes in the downtown core, prompting calls for increased safety measures in public spaces.
City officials in Mercier have opened a petition today urging the Quebec government to intervene on the chronic gridlock that plagues Route 138 along the South Shore. The move follows months of complaints from commuters stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic during rush hour, a situation that has begun to affect delivery schedules and school commutes alike. Municipal leaders say the bottleneck stems from outdated infrastructure and a lack of coordinated provincial planning. By gathering signatures, they hope to pressure the province into funding additional lanes or a dedicated public transit corridor. The petition remains open for residents to sign, and city staff will present the compiled list to the Ministry of Transport within the coming weeks. As the campaign gains momentum, officials stress that any relief will depend on provincial willingness to allocate resources.
Alberto Contador, the 7-time Grand Tour champion, is in Montreal today to preview the Road Cycling World Championships route and serve as a television analyst. Organizers invited him to give riders a first-hand look at the climbs and technical sections that will shape the race later this year. This morning, he rode the steep ascent to the historic park and the fast finish along the downtown boulevard, noting the mix of cobbles and sharp turns. He told reporters the course will test even seasoned cyclists. Local riders hope his insight will help them gauge the effort required, and officials say his presence adds prestige to the pre-event program. The preview will be streamed live for fans who want to see the route before race day. Spectators lining the streets said the chance to see a legend walking the course adds excitement to the build-up.
The final chapter of Quebec's longest recent labor dispute unfolded today as the last unionized Renaud Bray bookstore in the province shut its doors while 60 union members maintained a picket line. The closure follows an 18-month strike that began in early 2025, during which the downtown Quebec City location remained closed to customers. Management cited unsustainable operating costs, while the union argued that the agreement negotiations stalled repeatedly. Employees gathered outside the storefront, waving placards and chanting, marking what they described as the concluding day of collective action. The shutdown ends the chain's only remaining unionized outlet in Quebec, a symbolic blow to a retailer that has long been a fixture for local readers. Observers note that the protracted dispute has left a noticeable gap in the city's literary scene, with nearby independent shops seeing a modest uptick in foot traffic.
Now let's turn to the forecast and see how this July heat will shape your evening.
A stagnant high-pressure ridge and a western jet keep Montreal dry, while temperatures surge toward record territory. On this date, Montreal once burned to 32.5 Celsius in 2021, a blistering peak that rode the tail of a historic heat wave across southern Quebec. The cold counterpart fell to 12.9 Celsius in 2015, recorded during an unseasonal Arctic surge that blanketed the city in frost. By comparison, today's climatological normals sit near 29 Celsius for the high and 16 Celsius for the low, underscoring how today's warmth sits just below the all-time mark, while the chill remains far above the record low. Zooming into the live radar, the screen is a swath of blue, no rain or snow across the province. The western jet streams thread-dry air aloft, and the high-pressure ridge stays unbroken, suppressing lift. With the jet moving at 103 kilometers per hour from the west, any moisture would be sheared away before reaching the city. The atmosphere is locked in a quiet, stable mode as we turn to tonight's outlook. At 11 p.m. Montreal sits under 20 Celsius, mainly clear skies, and a gentle northeast breeze of 6 kilometers per hour, gusting to 17. Humidity rests at 72%, and the near-average pressure is holding steady, allowing the western jet at 103 kilometers per hour to stream aloft without disturbing the surface. This combination locks in dry, warm air and prevents any convective development through the night. By sunrise, the temperature will climb toward 29 Celsius, then peak at 31 Celsius midday as the sun angles higher. The UV index will register 6, and winds will remain modest, topping 16 kilometers per hour from the southwest. No weather alerts are in effect, so the city can expect a dry, comfortably warm night into tomorrow's clear morning. Looking ahead, Sunday will usher a bright day with a high of 27 Celsius and a low of 15, clear skies dominating the sky. Monday follows with a mild rise to 28 Celsius and a low of 16, partly cloudy but still dry. Tuesday introduces a sharp shift as an upper-level trough drapes over the region, bringing overcast conditions and a 70% chance of rain. Temperatures settle at 28 Celsius high and 20 Celsius low. Wednesday continues the wet pattern with a 25% rain chance, but the heat spikes to 33 Celsius and a low of 23, making it the warmest day of the stretch. Thursday snaps back to clear skies, holding another 33 Celsius high and a low of 25, capping a week of contrasting temperature swings. And that's your weather. Remember, the wrap is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, traffic updates for downtown, tonight's concert lineup, and a quick recap of the Roses' loss. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
And now here's Jason with sports.
Montreal sports making headlines on and off the field this week. Tough result for the Montreal Roses FC. Ottawa Rapid handed the Roses a 2-1 defeat, and according to CBC Sports Soccer, first place Ottawa now holds a 4-point lead over second place Montreal in the NSL standings. The gap at the top is growing, and the Roses have work to do. A civic honor for a beloved Canadian. The city of Montreal named forward Brendan Gallagher an honorary citizen, with a ceremony held at City Hall on Thursday. CBC Sports NHL reports it is one of the city's highest civic recognitions, a fitting tribute for a longtime cornerstone of the Habs. Carey Price is officially immortal in hockey terms. The Montreal Canadiens goaltending legend was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame as part of the 2026 class, joining Patrice Bergeron, Pekka Rinne, Keith Tkachuk, and Cindy Curley in the player category. CBC Sports NHL confirmed the announcement earlier this week.
On a crisp Saturday morning on St. Laurent Boulevard, a line of eager filmmakers stretched outside the historic film laboratory that has been a cornerstone of Montreal's indie scene for decades. Inside, owner Mitchell Tremblay had just announced that dwindling local investment threatened the lab's future, and the news sparked an outpouring of support. Volunteers gathered the next day, setting up a pop-up gallery of silver halide prints, while local cafes donated pastries and the city's cultural council pledged a matching grant. I saw a young director, notebook in hand, recount how the lab helped him turn a student short into a festival favorite, his eyes bright with gratitude. By evening, a crowd of more than 100 people had signed a pledge to keep the doors open, and the lab announced a partnership with a new streaming platform that will fund its next 3 years of operation. The moment the crowd cheered, The hum of the old developing machines seemed to echo a promise that Montreal's creative heart will keep beating. The spirit of this city lives on in the hands that nurture its stories.
In the heart of the plateau on an autumn evening, the staff of Montreal gathered behind the bar as the latest World's 50 Best list for North America flickered onto the screen. Chef Gabrielle Bouchard, sleeves rolled to the elbows, watched the names appear. 3 of her city's kitchens, Le Club Chastique and Damas, already secured spots, and then the moment that held room's breath. Montreal claimed the 5th position, the highest ranking for any Canadian restaurant this year. The celebration was immediate, a chorus of clinking glasses and a violinist on the corner street, his bow dancing over strings as the scent of caramelized carrots drifted from the kitchen. It feels tangible because many of the teams started as line cooks on modest shifts and now stand beside a name that shares the list with icons from New York and San Francisco. For a city long celebrated as a mosaic of flavors, seeing 4 of its tables in the top 50 affirms that Montreal's kitchen culture is thriving. It's a reminder that dedication, community, and a love for good food can earn a place on the continent's stage.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on The Wrap. Tonight's highlight was seeing 7-time Grand Tour champion Alberto Contador step into the studio as our World Championships analyst. We appreciate your trust in our coverage and look forward to bringing you more stories tomorrow. See you then.